Welcome, everybody, to episode 19 of the Bases and Brews Podcast with Ben and Brandon. This is our weekly podcast where we talk baseball and beer. We stream the show live on twitch.tv/bases and brews or sometimes on Facebook at, just search for Bases and Brews on Facebook because the link is very long. Every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come give us a follow. Watch us live on either of those platforms. Or if you can't catch us live, go check us out on YouTube or listen to us on podcast services like Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast. Just search for the channel Bases and Brews. Also follow us on Twitter at Bases Brews to get some baseball news, updates about the podcast, and about us. And how are you doing this week, man?
I'm doing all right. Not feeling super hot tonight, but other than that, doing well.
It's never good.
We had a great beginning of the week, so can't really complain. Home run derby, All-Star game, lot going on.
Yeah, it was fun. For anybody who didn't catch it, we live streamed the home run derby and the All-Star game. Just kind of a watch along. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I think we are probably going to put those on YouTube at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to get them up tomorrow.
They will. If you have access to the somehow to watch the All-Star game again, you can pull up our video and the All-Star game and watch them side by side and hear our thoughts. But
what do you got on tap tonight?
So I'm drinking. It's called the St. Arnold Fancy Lawnmower.
I like the name. That's
I had this brewery, their IPA, I don't know, about a month ago, and it was good. But this, from my first taste, it tasted like a light beer like a Bud Light.
Ooh, that's bad.
So I'm really hoping that was just out of the can, not a great taste. It was. Okay, it's not as bad,
but it's still really light.
But it's still not great. It kind of tastes like a Budweiser, not a Bud Light. It actually really tastes like it.
That's actually really funny. So since I'm not feeling too hot, I went with a cider, like a legit cider. It's from Santa Cruz Cider Company, which is I think 20 minutes from my house. Let's see, does it have an actual? No, it doesn't have the actual address. Sometimes it'll have the physical address. But apparently it's made with Gravenstein apples.
Interesting.
But the bottle's pretty dope.
Oh, nice. I like that bottle.
Yeah, I dig it. It's pretty good too. It's nice and tart, but it's nice and crisp. When you get an apple and it's not really sweet at all, but it's not sour, but you get that crisp, tart taste. That's kind of what this tastes like. It's really good.
Yeah. Nice. I do like Angry Orchard and those kind the
Yeah, except for this is 7% alcohol.
Oh, right. My brain isn't working. Hard ciders. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
My brain was not working at all.
One of my favorite drinks all time is a hot toddy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is basically just hot cider with some cinnamon.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Dude, it's fucking great.
Okay, we're going off topic, but I don't care. So one time I took an apple and I cut the top off and then I hollowed it out. And I put in hot apple cider and Fireball.
Ooh.
And it was so freaking good. And you just drink it out of the apple.
After you're
done.
And
then because you hollowed out the core, you can just eat the apple.
Ooh, I like that.
And it kind of absorbs the cider cinnamon flavor as well as a little bit of the Fireball. It was really good. Also, being from Ohio in the fall, hot chocolate and hot apple cider is a must. What the hell? But yeah.
So yeah, so I'm just drinking some cider tonight.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
It's pretty good though. Like I said, it's pretty solid, and it's like 7% alcohol for cider. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fairly high. I want to say like Angry Orchard's like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Angry Orchard. It's too sweet.
They're not my favorite, but like I was just giving an example everyone would know.
Yeah, there's a couple
Because
others
I couldn't think of.
I can't remember any of them because I don't get it
I
often.
know. Well, I don't know if it's a national brand, but I know Woodchuck is at least popular in like the Midwest. Um, that one's a lot better than. But anyway, we don't really have a hot and cold because
Nothing
there
happened.
hasn't been baseball this week. Since our last podcast, there might have been one day of baseball. I'm not sure.
I don't think
So-
anybody played yesterday.
No, there's games happening today. Is the start.
Yeah, the
Back.
Giants are playing today, and I think a full slate of games for today.
Yeah. Vlad Jr. already had a home run today in his first at bat. So
Okay. Well,
he's starting the second half strong.
that's why he didn't do the home run derby. He didn't want to waste
Fair.
those other 20 or 30 he's gonna hit in the home run derby. He's saving
Totally fair.
for games.
But yeah, so same as last week, hot. The Giants are the number one team still, and the Diamondbacks are still the worst. The Diamondbacks will probably be the worst the whole season, so that doesn't really. we'll keep saying it to embarrass them because they're the worst team, but
And they're National League West team, so anytime I get to clown on
Fair
them,
enough.
I'll take it.
fair enough.
So
So yeah, go ahead.
some weekly news we talked about a little bit during the All-Star game. I don't know if you know more about this.
No,
but-
so I didn't really get a chance to look at it.
Okay, so Manfred has a couple potential rule changes that I don't know if I think they're going to be looking at implementing at the end of the year. It's basically walking back a lot of the stuff they did over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of the 7-inning doubleheaders, or at least they're talking about it, which I think is great. Because what I didn't realize, because I haven't gone to one, is a lot of places are not doing a like 1-day pass for the double headers. They're making people pay by game.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so like some teams, I don't know if it was like all around, but I heard that some teams were basically charging people full price for 2 games, even though they were only getting 7-inning games. So they're basically losing like a half of one of the games. And
Yeah, because usually, well, all the times I've been to a major league doubleheader, it's you pay for the morning game and you get to stay all day.
yeah, so people were getting real pissed that they were having to pay full price for both games, especially considering they were essentially losing half of one of them.
Yeah,
Just
So-
play time wise.
yeah. So I don't know if you have any like quotes up from this. So this is basically Rob Manfred did an interview right before All-Star Week.
Oh no, usually I'm good with
And-
quotes. I didn't get his interview quotes.
Okay, so I just have an article pulled up from MLB.com, and so we'll just really quick the rules they're trying to change here are the 7-inning doubleheader, the runner on second to start extra innings, and then universal DH they're gonna add, which we've both known, even though you're against it, I'm for it. Like we both know that's inevitable, that's happening.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Right. And then the other big one is shift changes, which we'll talk about more in a minute, but I really want to read this quote from Rob Manfred. He said, I see the extra innings rule and the 7-inning doubleheader as rules that were adopted based on medical advice to deal with COVID. I think they're much less likely to become part of our permanent landscape than some of the other rules that we've talked about over time that relate to how the game is being played. So basically, he was like, these were never really meant to be long-term changes. Like they were added to be part of, based on medical experts' advice. I don't know. I guess maybe limiting the amount of time players are around each other. Or, what
Yeah.
exactly the point of that is, but
Honestly, I think
I,
it's just another way for them to weasel out of something without being
I
like,
mean,
it's
it's
our
definitely
fault.
that's absolutely possible that they were like these were meant to be long-term rules and they saw how much everyone hated them and were like these were never meant to be that
Yeah, they're
way.
like, no, guys, like we were just doing this because of the shortened
Right.
season,
The
and
doctors told us to do it, guys.
yeah,
Like, it's not on us.
yeah, we're going back, we promise. But no, I mean, and they could have been. I know the
Right.
7 inning doubleheader, because I don't think that was like that. Was it like that during the short season too?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's when it started. All both of those started last year.
because that makes sense for like this year, so that you don't hurt players.
Right. On the first year back.
Yeah, on the first full year back, like that would
That
actually
makes
make
sense.
sense if
Yeah.
that was actually planned as a short term rule. But my thing, the reason I don't think they were, is because when they were implemented, to my recollection, because I don't remember anybody talking about like, no, these are just short term rules until we get everything
Yeah.
kind of back to normal. It was just, these are what we're doing now.
Yeah. I, that's definitely possible. I don't remember them saying that either, but who knows, honestly. That's something we'll probably never know more about. But
Eh.
um and then the universal DH, obviously, like we said, that was kind of inevitable. And then so the other one is they're talking about limiting the shift. So quote here about the shift. Manfred says, let's just say you've regulated the shift by requiring two infielders on each side of second base. What does that do? Makes the game look like what it looked like when I was younger. It's not a change, it's kind of a restoration. So,
I'm honestly not even mad at that answer.
no, no,
He's like, no, it makes people actually look like they're playing the position they're supposed to be playing. Like, no, I'm okay
right.
with that.
He he goes on to say, I think the front offices in general believe it would have a positive effect on the play of the game. I'm hopeful, without going into specifics, that we will have productive conversations with the Players Association about it, um, or about non-radical changes to the game that will restore it to being played in a way that is closer to what many of us enjoyed historically.
See, there's only one group of people that I think would be against the shift changes and actually making people play their position, and that's pitchers.
Yeah, pitchers' numbers are going to get way worse again.
Yeah, they're gonna go down. I mean, it'll. I'm sure it'll get back to that balancing point again. But like, if they do make this change for the first, I would say at least like half year that rule is in place, the pitching numbers are definitely gonna go down, and then they'll probably come back up, and like they'll hit that equilibrium point.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, to be fair, also pitchers' numbers right now, as far as like batting average, which is the number that would be changed the most by this, is pitchers' numbers right now are so far down from historic averages. Like, I mean, hitters on average are hitting like 250, 240.
Yeah.
Like, player batting averages are disgustingly bad on average.
So I don't know, but that's the only group of people that I
Give
can
me
actually
one
see.
second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's the only group of people I can actually see having any kind of having any issue with this, because they're the ones that would be the most negatively impacted. So I think the shift changes will be pretty. I think it'll help the game in a way, but I can understand where it could be have potential issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it because they're trying to get excitement in the game and putting on the shift is boring. Like, it makes the game slower because it's so hard to hit a ground ball through the infield anymore.
Oh yeah,
because nobody will hit the ball the other way. Like,
Yeah.
at least, I don't know. I mean, you and me both agree and have talked about it numerous times how, like, we both think that the answer should be the batters hitting the ball the other way, not getting rid of the shift, because that will get rid of the shift. But
Yeah, I mean, if you keep bunting to, the third baseman that's not there,
right.
light ground balls to the left side or right side or it's usually the left side where nobody
Yeah, I
is.
mean, right side, the first baseman's still got to be over there.
Yeah.
So
So
for right-handers, that is significantly harder. But as a lefty, yeah. I mean, I think it was Nelson Cruz a couple years ago had like 3 or 4 bunt doubles in the season because they kept shifting him and he kept just bunting the ball down the third baseline, and like the ball got into left field before anybody got to it.
yeah, and I'm not even saying like people need to even learn to be crazy, opposite field hitters. But if you literally just every time you're up, you bunt it the other way for double or a single because nobody's there. People
You're
are
gonna bat like
eventually
500.
yeah, well, yeah, your average is gonna go up for one, but eventually they're gonna move back
Yeah,
because they're not gonna be able to trust that you're going to just swing.
yeah. I'm with you 100%,
But it does hurt your RBI numbers and it could hurt, some of your power numbers, which I get is why people don't do it. At least that's my only like cognitive thought that would be why somebody wouldn't do it.
yeah. Just while we're in the news before we finish up, unless you had anything else about rule changes. No. The Blue Jays just announced that they're going to be returning to Toronto starting on July 30th.
Oh, nice.
Because they've been playing in Buffalo.
Nice.
So that is exciting news. So yeah.
That's cool for them. That's going to be dope.
Yeah. I actually really like them in Buffalo and wouldn't mind them moving, but at the same time, like, it sucks as a Toronto fan to have your team not playing there when they're still called the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, yeah, you would think if they moved to Buffalo, they would eventually have to.
Well, yeah.
Change.
I mean, I meant this year specifically.
Oh, yeah.
If they move, they'll be the Buffalo Blue Jays, which actually sounds fucking cool. You gotta love alliteration, man.
I don't know.
The Buffalo Blue Jays.
I don't know.
It's great.
I just want the Expos back. Just bring back the Montreal Expos.
Okay. You're talking about expansion, though. We're not talking about the same things here.
We can move them. Well, no.
You're gonna move them from Toronto to Montreal. The fans will be even more pissed.
I just want the Expos back.
The team that's supposedly moving to Montreal eventually is Tampa Bay.
I'd be okay with that because eventually they're going to go back to the Expos.
Right. Well, I think if they move, they'd go to the Expos right away.
You don't think they would even try and do the Tampa Bay thing? You think they'd just go straight?
Not if they move permanently.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the rumor has been that they're going to start splitting the season, do half their home games in Tampa and half in Montreal. Because the Tampa Bay, whatever, government city won't like do anything for the team. And I don't blame them because that team has like the worst attendance in baseball and they're one of the better teams in baseball. Every one of their games is away fans because the only people in Florida are people who moved there from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
but yeah, so that was just something I saw pop up really quick.
That's cool. That's going to be nice for them. Like I said, like it's always good when a team can go back home.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they've been in Buffalo all season. So, all right, so yeah, let's get into our big topic, which we'll start with the All-Star game. The American League won 5-2. We looked it up. Wasn't it like It was like 18
2012.
of it was like 18 of the last 23 or something were all American League, and they won 8 in a row now or something.
The last time they won was 2012,
Yeah.
the
And they
National
didn't have an
League.
all-star game last year. So,
So
yeah, so 8 years. It's
that's
been a rough run.
brutal. That's
It's been a
brutal.
rough run.
Uh,
But yeah, Shohei Ohtani gets the win despite only pitching 1 inning, because apparently in the All-Star game it's just whoever's pitching when the lead is taken, even if they don't do the 5 innings. Um,
which is good. I think
using
we talked about this a little
Yeah,
during it. Like
yeah, we
I think
did.
that should be a thing for
Yes, yeah, we did
regular
talk about that.
season.
I totally agree, because it's so dumb when a guy, like, he has a rough day pitch count wise, but like he leaves the game and his team's winning like 2-1 or something, but he only goes 4 innings and he doesn't get the win. It's like, I mean, just because you had to throw a bunch of pitches and you got out of jams, like, they shouldn't punish you for that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I hate
But
that like quality start thing. Like
if they change that, they also are going to destroy the record books, because so many more, like, pitchers are going to get so many more wins.
it's true.
So they'd
I
have to figure
wonder.
that out.
I'm gonna check real quick. I wonder when that was actually put in place.
I don't know that. Continuing while you look that up, Corbin Burns from Milwaukee got the loss. Hendricks from Texas. Where the hell is Hendricks pitching now? I forget. That was Kyle Hendricks, right? Or Liam Hendricks.
Liam
Which
Hendricks.
Hendricks was it?
Liam Hendricks was the closer.
Okay.
Uh,
Chicago White Sox.
dude, that was
got the
that
save.
last half inning was so
That was
funny.
fun.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. The game wasn't even in doubt at all, but it was fun. MVP goes to Vlad Guerrero Jr., who is the youngest MVP in the history of the All-Star game. Which is cool. He launched that one home run. That thing flew. That looked like a home run derby home run when he hit it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only other person I could have seen it going to was either Liam Hendricks or the catcher that you were talking shit about.
Did not. How do you
and then launched a home run.
Bro, that was such good timing.
For anybody who didn't get to catch our live stream, Fire was basically like, this guy shouldn't even be in the All-Star game. And within seconds, the dude launched a home run over the wall. And it was like, okay. It was really funny. But yeah, it was a fun All-Star game. And who won the home run derby? That was
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso absolutely dominated the home run derby.
In 1884, a pitcher, had 59 wins.
True, but back
That's
then
nuts.
pitchers also pitched like every day.
No, that's just nuts to me. I'm trying to see
It's
like
insane.
where in history, whether it was since 1900 or when, because I know that can't have been like a rule that has been there forever.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. I know it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I'll keep looking. We can keep going on though.
The other big story of the home run derby was crap, I'm gonna blank on his name. Who else got into the final?
Mancini.
Yeah, Mancini from the Baltimore Orioles, who is coming back from cancer this season, and he put on a good show. It's just Pete Alonso was just better. So Pete Alonso with the two-peat. And yeah, that was fun. It wasn't the most exciting home run derby. The first round, every single matchup was good. But going going into the second round got kind of boring, and then the third round was decided before. Oh, I found it, by the way.
Oh, did you? Okay.
You're not gonna like the answer though.
It was like super old.
1866.
Okay, so yeah, so basically, it has always been that way.
And the reason for it, just to clear up why they do it, is because that's when a game is considered complete for the like a rain delay or something.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either, but that's why it is what it is.
I could see if like it was 3 innings, but even then, like, then why not just make it whoever's like,
right.
I don't know. I still think it should be whatever pitcher was on the mound before. Like, if your team is winning when you leave the mound and your team wins, you should get credit for the win.
I totally agree. And well, yeah, the exception being if they come back and tie it, and then your team retakes the lead. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I don't really fully understand why they do it, but that's what they say. But yeah, so all in all, pretty good All-Star weekend.
Except for the softball game. Softball game sucked.
The celebrity softball game was real bad.
Like, it wasn't fun. It wasn't close.
They didn't show it. First of all, like they cut the game up to where only when there was a hit they would show it. They didn't show any like extra pitches or anything. It was really weird.
It was very much like watching a game on Quick Pitch. Anybody who watches like the MLB channel, it was just like outs and base hits, and it was tough to keep track of, to be honest.
Right. They
because,
do
like,
that on
pitch...
YouTube.
Oh, do they?
Good. For football games, they like cut out everything between the plays, and they just show the actual play. So like, you lose a lot of the like what's going on because it's just like snap, 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 snap.
Yeah. Well, and especially because it was a celebrity game where it's not like it's players you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait, who was that?
You and I are both older, so a lot of the people we were like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, a lot of TikTok people, and
why are they a celebrity?
Well,
I don't know who this is.
And the other thing that I thought was interesting is the young retired players old retired players that were there. Like, I get if a guy's really like strange. In his mid to late 50s or something, maybe in his like early 60s out there, but like Hunter Pence is like 36
right,
or
the
something.
Dude like just retired like last year. Like, yeah.
He's not old at all. So I don't get why those guys are out there.
They showed him and like his first pitch, he like launched over the wall by like 50 feet. It was like, okay. To me, that makes no sense. Like, the whole point is to really the whole point is to see celebrities flail at softballs and like really not be that great. Like, that's the whole fun of it. Right.
It's
like
kind of
DK Metcalf.
Yeah. When it's like the celebrity basketball game for the All-Star game, like now they get guys that are actually like celebrities that are actually pretty good and come ball.
I was going to say, I actually like the NBA All-Star celebrity game because like, yeah, they get like TO plays and that dude's like jumping over the rim and like
and you got guys like
J. Cole always plays Cole, like that dude can play like he played in college, I think.
Well, he just did a stint in like an overseas league where he played like 3 games or something like that before he was like, all right guys, I'm not good enough for this or something. I don't know exactly what it was,
but like the fact that he even could play is
I mean, like, let's be real. He was able to get on the team because
of his I understand that, but like he is good enough to like play, just not be good.
Yeah, he's at least
and
there.
Like,
yeah,
but when you put him against but when you put him against celebrities, he he's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be great because there's half the people don't know what they're doing.
I don't know. I kind of miss the days of like the goofy all-star games and like people aren't very good and that's kind of the whole fun of it. But I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Like it is fun to watch celebrities that are actually decent at the sport
right.
that you're
I,
playing.
I'm I'm all for people being good at it, but they should be celebrities, not former players.
That's fair.
Unless you get like 60 or 70-year-old former players who are
and
just like
so and like
chilling.
softball players, like they had a
Yeah. Well,
couple like college
did
World
you see
Series
the
like players on one of the
did you
teams.
see it was actually pretty funny. Did you see Jenny Finch pitch to some random actor or
Oh
something?
yeah.
She like full speed pitched him, like
Well,
fast pitch
because
softball.
they were down so much that they actually let her pitch.
Right.
like,
It was
like
just
that's how
really funny
bad the
to
game
see.
was.
Yeah. But
I,
yeah, no, overall it was a fun All-Star weekend. That was such a small part of it that like I don't the All-Star game and the home run derby were both really good.
and did you see that the home run or the All Star game pulled like almost double the viewership that the last NBA All Star game pulled?
Really.
Yeah,
That
I think
surprises me a lot.
the last NBA All Star game, which was what this year, right? Yeah, I think it was like a little bit
Yeah.
earlier this year.
Yeah.
Pulled like 5.9 million viewers, and the MLB All Star game pulled in like 8.6 or
Dang.
something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and people keep saying baseball is dead. I'm like, nah, people just needed a reason to watch, and Otani has been a big part of that.
Otani, like the young guns coming up in baseball are exciting
Tatis.
and yeah, they're big names and their baseball's actually marketing them, which is nice.
It's funny because apparently the MLB is auctioning off all the jerseys.
I saw that.
And did you see like it was
Otani's
like
went for a ton of money.
like Otani? Well, like I think it was who was it? I'm trying to remember who it was, but someone was at like $2,500 was about where the bid was when I saw it. And Otani's was at like 101,000 or
Yeah,
$111,000. It was like over 1,000 times, almost 1,000 times more.
yeah. It was ridiculous.
So that's been a huge factor, and they've done a pretty good job for how much we bitched and how much I got on the MLB early, like in the first couple episodes about their marketing. I feel like they've done a pretty good job of putting at least Otani with what he's doing front and center and being like, "Hey guys, look at this."
I actually love we didn't talk about this. It might have happened after last week's episode, so maybe we should mention it. So I don't know. Did you see the Stephen A. Smith stuff about Shohei?
I don't know.
He basically came out and like during whatever his show is called, he was like, Shohei Otani shouldn't and can't be the face of baseball because he can't speak English and uses an interpreter and all this other stuff. And then like to see him be like the main star of the All-Star game and home run derby and his jersey, it is currently the top bid is 111,000
Yeah.
and it's like not even close to the second place.
Yeah, the second place is
So,
like
like
2,500 or something like that, or maybe it's a little more now. But
uh I'm trying to look.
like you're talking the difference between like a used Honda Civic and a freaking supercar.
Okay, it's way worse than you even said.
Oh, is it more? Is it less than like 2,500?
Vlad Guerrero Jr., the All-Star MVP, has 40 bids on his jersey. It's going for $3,020.
Okay, so that's a little more than I thought.
No, you said 25,000.
I said 2,500.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you then.
I mean, maybe
misheard
maybe I
you.
did say 1,000, but I meant 100.
You might have said 2,500,
Oh.
but yeah, 40 bids on his, and doesn't say how many bids on Otani's jersey. It just says the top, but it's over 30 times higher.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I take it back. Tatis Jr. is the second. It's 3,600.
But still, like it's pennies compared.
Yeah. But yeah, so he based So it's cool to see it after Stephen A came out and said that
I
stupid
don't.
shit.
I don't even understand. I feel like baseball has always been the most fun when its international stars were front and center.
I mean, baseball is by far the most international sport.
I mean, everyone, yes, it's America's pastime, but like, let's be real. Some of the best players to ever even lace them up for baseball, not been from here.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be curious. I'm gonna see if I can find it really fast, but
I didn't hear that, man. That's one of those that take's not going to age well, and it definitely did.
I mean, he came out the next day and was like, I didn't mean for it to come across like it did, but like at that point, like it's a bad comment.
Yeah, it just well, it's funny because I think it was this morning, maybe it was last night, a clip from 7 years ago. Oh God, what was his name? He played for Toronto. It was, I'm pretty sure he was a Japanese guy. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look him up real quick. But he basically was learning English, and like the interviews this guy gave were always just sheer gold.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna look up his name. Once I say his name, I'm sure you'll remember.
Okay. So it's actually not as international as I honestly thought.
Really?
71% of MLB is from the US. So 29% is international, which is still a big number, but I expected that to be higher. I would have guessed it was about 60-40 American.
Yeah,
60% American, but
okay, so I'm gonna butcher the fuck out of this name, and I'm really sorry. But Munenori Kawasaki. Oh, hold on.
I don't know the name.
Okay, now we're gonna have some fun because I'm gonna pull up the clip because this guy is funny as hell. But it came across my like one of my recommendeds, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen this interview in a while, so I watched it because it's like 3-minute interview or something like that. It's like one of the post game interviews in the locker room, and it made me laugh, and it just reminds me of all the players over the years that have not been of American descent that have been like my favorite players to actually like listen to speak in like, just the way that they show a love for the game.
Well, even if they use an interpreter too, like you can still tell while they're talking, even if you can't understand them, like you can still tell that they have passion for the game. Like, so I never really understood the people who are like super anti anybody who can't speak English. And it's like, it also doesn't really make sense because Otani's been here like a year and a half, 2 years. No, about a year and a half. Like, I can't even imagine trying to master a foreign language in a year and a half while I have to play baseball,
right?
Like every single day. Like, when's he supposed to have time for that stuff?
Music there. Okay, I'm not going to switch us over because I don't know if I have the other scene set up, but I'm going to at least have the audio, so let me know if you can hear it.
Muni, how happy are you to be back here wearing the big Blue Jay on your chest?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very happy. I'm fun. I'm exciting.
You sound excited.
Yeah, every day exciting.
Now, it was pretty cold in Buffalo, and now you come here.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold Buffalo, here. Is that hard for you to play when it's cold?
Yeah, I was in Buffalo 2 days ago. No, Buffalo very cold, but more cold Minnesota. Unbelievable.
Your English is getting very good. You've been really practicing, haven't you?
Yeah, I have book. I'm every day study English. I like study English because I have teacher. Go, Roger, Batista.
So you're learning Spanish too?
Spanish, yeah, Spanish too. Every day talking. every day. I need practice. I need practice English. You know what I mean?
Because you have to teach your son when he starts to talk.
Yeah, my son is Kanak. He speaks English, maybe.
Right now, he's probably not saying much, though, right?
Yeah, he's my only.
But that's in English, right?
Yeah.
How do you say that in Japanese?
Japanese.
What your son says, those noises, how do they sound in Japanese? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, Japanese. 一緒、一緒、Japanese only. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you very
That's
much.
really
I'll be
funny.
back.
But that's just like a random interview, and like the whole time, like you can tell he's totally fucking around. Like he's not
Yeah.
serious. Like it's
Well,
funny
like, I mean,
because he's
even that, like, he's trying.
yeah. Well, and he knows that his English isn't like you can see on his face like he's joking, and you can tell he knows his English isn't the greatest, but he still is giving like these really just funny answers.
Right.
But it just reminds me of so many
that's
different
good.
people that like I've heard over the years, especially being a San Francisco fan. We've seemed to have gotten a lot of like Latin American players over the last
I think
couple
that's just
decades.
baseball. Like
Maybe.
everybody's got that.
But and a lot of them will come and either speak kind of broken English or they're just learning the language still.
Right.
And
so still go through an interpreter or whatever.
Yeah, but like some of them are just so fucking funny, especially when they try to speak and they know that they're bad at it, like, and they play up like how bad they are at it. Like it makes it so much more fun to listen to an interview.
Uh-oh. Wait, am I back?
Yes, you're back. What happened?
Okay.
I was
I
just
don't know.
you like froze for a second.
You froze on mine, so I don't know. I don't know whose side it was, but yeah, Jose Ramirez on the Indians is like that, and he's learning English. Like, I mean, he's been here 5-6 years now, but he still uses an interpreter just to like make sure he's saying the right thing. But
Yeah.
he'll still answer questions in English if he knows them, and so he like the guy who interviews everybody after the game for the Indians. If Jose Ramirez hits a home run, he like has a thing where he says like the interviewer will go like, "Oh, what was that pitch you hit out?" And Jose Ramirez will be like, "That's my home run pitch." But he says it in like kind of broken English and like, and it's funny because like he's apparently really funny, but the dude never smiles. Like,
See, and that
completely serious all the time. It's great. I
that
love
was
him.
part of that like interview that was great is because he starts when he's first talking to him for probably the first like 20 seconds he's just got this stone like look on his face.
Yeah.
He's like yeah, I'm trying to learn English. Yeah, I have a book. Yeah, I learned it. And like as soon as he says he has a book and he's trying to like practice every day, that's when you see the smile like and him just like be like,
Yeah.
oh, and I'm learning Spanish. So, like
Yeah, no, it's I appreciate that kind of stuff because it is different. Like I seriously can't imagine trying to move to a country where you don't speak the language, play baseball literally every day of the year, and try to like learn English. And half the guys on your team speak Spanish, not English. So it's like you can't even just
Yeah.
learn English, like that guy was saying.
well, and English is literally like one of the hardest languages to
Yeah, because
learn.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There's so many words that are spelled the same but pronounced different.
Like
Or
me going to Italy and learning Italian, I feel like would be a lot easier than someone coming from Italy trying to like for the very first time
Well-
hearing and like trying to learn English.
I'll say this too. So like, I took a bunch of English classes in college, and like, so there's languages that are based on Latin, which would be like Italian, Spanish, English, French. So they have stuff that's similar, but then like there's Japanese, which is not has zero connection.
I want
So,
to learn
like,
Japanese
that's-
so bad.
That's even more difficult than like trying to learn English if you're Japanese or vice versa is 100 times harder than trying to learn like Spanish or French or Italian or any of those?
Japanese is like the one language that I want to know. I had a friend
Yeah.
in high school, one of my best friends. He spoke fluent Japanese.
Okay.
You wouldn't know this guy knew a lick of Japanese, but I guess his best friend before he moved out to California from Pennsylvania, his whole family was Japanese.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
from a very young age, he just learned Japanese to talk to his friends' parents and grandparents and stuff.
Right.
So he came here fluent, and he would just, whenever like a teacher said something he didn't like, he'd just start talking in Japanese because no one out here fucking speaks Japanese just
Right.
randomly. And it was
Actually,
just,
wait, I'm surprised people out there don't.
well, I mean, there are some
The
people,
Japanese
but like,
community's fairly big in, especially Northern California.
well, yes and no, but like, I mean, I went to a predominantly affluent white school
Yeah.
where most of the teachers were pretty much the same. I mean, I'm not saying it was
Yeah.
like an impossibility, but like the
Right, no, I
likelihood
understand.
of somebody
Yeah.
understanding him was very slim, and I was like, that's funny as fuck. Like he would cuss
Right.
teachers out sometimes, and they'd have
They
no
wouldn't have
idea.
any idea. That's great.
And as like a, like a 14-year-old, you're like, that's fucking badass. I want to do that someday. So Japanese has always been one of the languages I've just wanted to learn, especially because I
Yeah.
love a lot of like anime now that I've gotten older, and I love a lot of like Japanese racing and stuff like that. So I'd
Okay.
love to actually like go to Japan and check out some of like these cool places and actually be able to speak to people.
Right. Yeah, because I've heard Japanese people hate like tourists because they, especially Americans. I mean, granted, a lot of countries hate American tourists.
I mean,
but
do you blame a lot of countries
no.
for hating
Oh
us?
no,
though?
not at all. No, not
Okay.
even a little bit.
But let's bring it
Yeah.
back.
Yep, that was a huge tangent, but that was fun.
But
Um,
that's fun. I just can't believe Stephen A. said that. I mean, I can. But
yeah, he always says shit like that and then has to apologize.
and has to walk it back. That's kind of what he's made
Apparently
his
he-
brand on, though.
Fair. He like what makes it worse for him is that he doubled down on the comments like later in the day when someone asked him about it. And then like the next day when he saw the backlash is when he walked it back. And it's like, yeah, you don't mean this.
Yeah. To be honest, like him, Skip Bayless, those
Yeah.
guys of the world, I don't
They always-
I don't
yeah.
think any of the like talking head guys like the Max Kellerman, like I don't know if they really truly believe a lot of the points they argue.
I mean, fair. They're just trying. I mean, the name of their show is literally Hot Take.
Yeah, like
Or
I think
hot
that
takes
they
or
go to a
whatever it's
meeting in the morning and go, okay, these are the things we're gonna talk about. Who wants to be on what sides?
Oh yeah, 100%
like-
they do that.
It's not like these guys. I mean, I'm sure there are some things that they actually are like,
yeah,
no, like I
course.
100% am in this. Like the GOAT debate. I think that one for basketball, I think that one is one that runs deep in everybody. Like I don't think
Right.
a lot of people like, what is it? They believe what they say when they talk about that. But like most of the stuff, I think it's just, hey, pick a side, and they argue according to what side that they got put on or picked.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's just, yeah, it's all for ratings at that point.
All right.
That's why you know that you'll get real takes from us because we're not here for the ratings.
Yeah, because we're so big to
Uh-huh.
our millions and millions
Exactly.
of followers. Look, we got 2 million viewers right now.
That's what I saw. But all right, so we're gonna finish this episode up by talking about our preseason predictions and how they look at the midway point. And I can tell you before we even look at them that they're not great.
Yeah, I don't think so. But give me 1 second if you want to
Okay.
start off with some of
Yeah.
yours, and I'm gonna go grab another one of my drinks real
Okay.
quick.
We have some, most of ours are very similar, so I'm probably gonna hold off here. But yeah, for the most part, our predictions are pretty bad. But we will see. Potentially we might have a few right. But it's, man, and to be fair, we compared ours to Vegas, I think in episode 2, and Vegas and us were very similar. So it's not just us that had a tough time predicting this season, because there's a lot of stuff that's not expected. There's a lot of teams in positions that nobody expected them to be in, like Fireproof's San Francisco Giants. But yeah, it's an interesting year, really. There's really, man, there's a lot of weird standings. But yeah, all right. So we'll look at the AL East to start. You're muted.
I said I didn't realize. Apparently, I grabbed maybe 2 different kinds of
Like
the same one.
brewery.
Well, because check this out. So you got this bottle,
Uh-huh.
and by the apple it says "Scary Good," right?
Uh-huh.
It's all black and white. Well, I just opened this one,
Okay.
and this one says Wild Side. But they both say Gravenstein, like on the bottom. This is handwritten lot 18, and this one is printed on. Let's see if I can get the
Interesting.
right on it, lot 20. So
I
I don't
wonder
know
if
if they're
they're
the
different in
same.
any way.
So I don't know if they're different, or if it's like the upgraded logo, like, you know, like when you not rebrand, but
Yeah,
just like update your
evolve your
you update your logos and stuff. And I don't know if that's what it is, because everything else is the same alcohol content. Basically, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I was actually trying to look at the alcohol content on this one, and it is not on here.
I do have to say, though, I do like the look of this bottle better with the green.
Agreed. Yeah. Green and black's a great combo.
Okay. Sorry. Now that I've gotten off all the drinking tangent.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, that's half our podcast. Bases and Brews. So,
I think they might be different.
Really?
This one's not as tart. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. I wouldn't say sweet, but it's just not as as bitter.
Okay.
But I also don't know if that's just because the first one was an older lot, so it's been sitting for longer.
It's possible.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, either way, it's still good, but
Right. All right. So let's get into this. Yeah, I mean, our predictions were basically the same. I remember us trying to do like anything different, and we were like, yeah, we agreed on pretty much everything.
I think the NL West was the only one that was different, right?
Yeah. Yep. So, all right, so let's just go top down. We'll start with the AL East. We said Blue Jays, Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, Orioles. We got the Orioles right. They're dead last. They're 26 games out of first place. Then we said the Red Sox, and it's the Blue Jays who we picked to win the division. They're currently 8 games out, so that seems unlikely. We said the Rays in third. It is the Yankees in third, also 8 games out. And then we said the Yankees in first, or in second. It's the Rays in second, 1.5 out. And we said the Blue Jays in first. They have the Red Sox currently in first place with, I think, tied for the second best record in baseball.
I believe you're right.
Nobody saw that coming. The Red Sox last year were, I'm pretty sure, like the second or third worst team in all of baseball.
Who? The Red Sox?
Yeah. Like they were really bad last year.
Were they that bad?
I'm gonna look really quick.
I didn't think they were that bad. But...
The 2020 standings. Yeah, had Boston at 24-36, last in the division.
Oof.
It looks like their fourth worst record in baseball.
Oof. That's brutal.
So nobody picked the Red Sox to win. The only reason I didn't pick them in last was because the Orioles.
Well, yeah.
And the Orioles are not disappointing.
Yeah, the Orioles are 28-61 right now.
Yeah, they are exactly where I expected them to be.
They are bad.
They are right there with the Pirates and the Diamondbacks for the worst in baseball.
So AL East, we got one.
We have one correct right now.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make a list of this. AL East,
Okay.
we have one. Okay, so then we'll go AL Central.
Okay. AL Central. We picked. I'm going to do it this way now because instead of going down and going back up, we have the Chicago White Sox in first place, and the Chicago White Sox are in first place.
All right, so that's one there.
Yep. We picked the Twins in second, and the Twins are freaking awful this year.
Yeah.
They are in fourth place right now at 39-50. They're 15 games out
That's brutal.
and not looking like they're on a comeback.
No.
We had the Indians in third. They are currently in second, 8 games out. Kind of looks like, honestly, like this is Chicago's division.
Yeah, they are
crazy.
playing pretty well, and I'm sure
They're
they're going to
playing
be
pretty
buyers at
good.
All-Star.
The Indians aren't. What? Go ahead.
I got something that we should have added in news, but let's get through the Central, and then I'll mention it real quick.
We picked the Royals in fourth. They are currently dead last. Really bad, 18 games out. And then we picked the Tigers to finish last. They're actually, I guess they're tied.
They're floating around, not
They're
too
in
far
third,
from 500.
technically, but by percentage points. But yeah. All right. What was your? We have one right. We have the winner, which is the most important of all of them. To be fair.
So we got one for the AL Central. So the first official trade of the trade deadline has happened.
Oh yes,
I forgot.
You are correct. I totally forgot.
Forgot when we started to put this on.
Big name.
Jock Peterson got traded from
To
the Cubs.
Atlanta.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
He got traded from the Cubs, which is the very beginning of their fire sale, which means if they sold him, it's on.
Yep.
So everyone's free game at this point. So it's going to get
Here comes
exciting.
Chris
for some
Bryant,
of that.
Javi Baez.
Yeah,
Ooh, baby.
So he got traded for a first round prospect, Bryce. What was his name? He's a first baseman though. But he was like a top 14 prospect for. Oh crap! Who got him? Trying to remember where the trade went to. Trying to remember where he got. Oh, to the Braves. That's where it was.
Bryce Ball,
yes. And I think he was
first
like a
baseman?
top. He was a top 15 prospect for the Braves.
I mean, it is kind of interesting. Jock Peterson was 2 years ago considered one of the best up and coming players in baseball, and then the Dodgers just kind of let him go, and he just kind of fell off.
Yeah, that was kind of weird because he won a World Series with them last year, and then they just were like, "Yeah, we're not paying you anymore." So go find a contract somewhere else.
This year he's batting .230 with 11 homers.
But that's probably. I think they gave up a couple picks too, with that deal.
Yeah,
to me is like that's not much for a guy of Jock Peterson's stature.
Right, but he's having a bad year. I don't think he had a great year last year, if I remember correctly. Actually, I guess I have his page up. He batted .190 with 7 home runs in 43 games.
No, it looks like it might have been just a straight up trade.
Oh.
That
But
seems
yeah,
crazy.
you are correct. I did mean to have that on there. And again, for anybody who hasn't been keeping up, we are going to be doing next week. We're going to be doing our lead up to the trade deadline. We're going to talk about all the rumors, all the players who could get traded, who's going to be a buyer and seller, etc. And then the following week is the trade deadline. So we'll be talking about all the moves that got made. And
just real
if
quick,
any of them are good.
Ball was a 24th round pick in 2019.
Okay.
And he's got a 377 on base percentage over 2 seasons in the minors. So he's described as having huge exit velocities, but with some contact problems.
So every player in baseball.
So he hits the ball hard, but he has a problem hitting the ball.
Yeah. He's 23.
But yeah, no, that one I was blown away by hearing that this morning.
Right. Because they just signed him. So like the Cubs just picked him up in the offseason. So but anyway. All right, so let's go to the AL West. That's the wrong page. So in first place, we picked the Athletics, who were in first place pretty much all season until like the last week and a half of the first half.
Yeah, they were 4-6 in their last 10 leading up to the All-Star break. That's not very good.
So the Astros took over from the A's and are in first place now. We had the Angels in second place, which seems like a mistake. Why did we pick the Angels?
Because they had so much talent.
Good. They're never good though.
But they
always have so much talent.
But they have Shohei and before Trout, like we didn't know Trout was gonna get hurt and basically miss like the first half of the season.
True.
Like,
I wonder if he's coming back anytime soon.
I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't think so.
As of 5 hours ago from CBS Sports, Angels Mike Trout feeling close to 100%.
So a couple more weeks, probably.
Expected back within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, well, I don't know why we picked them. I don't.
Because they always have a ton of talent, and they're never good. I honestly, has Mike Trout made the playoffs more than once?
No, he's played in one playoff game.
He's only played in a wild card?
Only a wild card. That's his only playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
Embarrassing. As
literally the best player in the last, since he's been in the league?
10 years.
Has it been? Yeah.
This is his 10th season in baseball.
Yeah. So for easily the last 7 or 8 years, he's been one of, if not the best player in baseball. And he's
actually, no. He's been in the league 10 and a half years. This is his 11th season.
Oh, okay, wow.
But
even still, like
I don't crazy. By the way,
yeah, it doesn't feel like he's that old.
I know, he's 29.
But for one of the best players in all of baseball,
in the history of baseball,
arguably.
No, he's there. The Angels are destroying his legacy.
He's going to be the Dan Marino of baseball.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to say. That's who I had in my head.
I almost said Joe Montana because I've had a little bit to drink and haven't really.
Joe Montana had,
and I'm like he was the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's going to be the Dan Marino of baseball, 100%.
Except Dan Marino at least won playoff games. He just never got to a Super Bowl.
That's fair.
It's bad. It's really bad. But okay, so we had the Astros in third. I feel like, to be fair to us in the AL West, you and I both picked the Astros in third because we just hate the Astros.
Yeah, they weren't going to be. Well, and the A's actually legitimately looked really good at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And honestly, up until a couple weeks ago, they still looked pretty good.
I meant why we didn't have the Astros in second over the Angels.
Yeah, that was probably that probably had something to do with it.
But
then again,
currently,
no, because I wouldn't even say on paper that you would 100% say the Angels were better. Maybe.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But currently, the Mariners are in third place in that division. That's actually a surprise to me. We had the Mariners in fourth, but I didn't expect them to be like anywhere near. I expected Astros, Athletics, Angels to be like in the top, and then Seattle and Texas to be way behind. Seattle currently 7 games out in third place. So like I said, we picked Seattle in fourth. The Angels are in fourth, 9 games out. And then we picked the Rangers in last, which we got right.
We got
At
one
least we
right.
can predict who's terrible in baseball.
The only ones we've gotten right so far, we've gotten 2 of the last place teams, and then the 1 first place team.
Yep. We can't get anything in the middle. All right. You want to take the AL or NL?
Okay, yeah. So we're going to switch over to the National League now. And we're going to start with the National League East. So we got one right.
Yep.
We predicted the Mets would be in first, and they are in first. Not by a lot, but they're holding on to that number 1 slot. They are literally clawing to stay afloat right now.
I feel like the Mets, you talked about it. We'll talk about it more when we get to the Padres, but like we talked about in the beginning how like building team camaraderie and getting to know people on the team and stuff. Like there's a lot of players on that team that weren't on that team last year. So
the fact that they're holding it together though with all the injuries is what I'm surprised about.
They've had a lot of injuries, but I feel like they could have a really good second half.
So we got that one right. We had Atlanta Braves at second. They are currently in third, but they are only in third by a half game. So
yeah, and however, they did lose Acuna, which is a huge loss.
But they just got Jock Peterson.
You traded a guy batting 310 with 28 homers for a guy batting 220 with 11.
Hey,
and not in the same position.
It's better than nothing.
I'm actually very confused why they got him, because he's a first baseman, correct?
Jock Peterson?
Yeah.
Outfielder.
Is he?
See, you know what's funny is I originally was like, no, he's a first baseman. But when I actually looked at it, he is actually an outfielder.
He's so big.
I thought he was a first baseman, and I thought that's where room was made for Max Muncy on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But apparently he's an outfielder. I mean, I'm sure he's played first base, but he's listed as an outfielder.
Oh. All right. Well, then that makes sense why they got him.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I know. I'm just saying when they first signed him, I was like, but they have Freddie Freeman. Like, who is he going to play? Is he just going to be off the bench? Like, or are they going to move him to the out? But okay, all right, that makes more sense then.
We had the Nationals in third. They are sitting in fourth by they're in fourth by 2 games. Like, so we were pretty close on this division so far.
Yeah, the Phillies ruined everything.
Yeah, it's really just the Phillies. If the Phillies would have just sucked like we had predicted they would. So we had the rest of it right. Yeah, we had the Marlins at fourth, and they are currently the worst in that division. But that's probably the tightest division in all of baseball right now. That
by far is the best 5th place team in any division by like 5 games.
Yeah, that's not even close.
So, yeah.
It's only they're 9 games back from first, which
now, with that said, it's the tightest, but the 2nd place team is 500. So
yeah, that's not a it's not a
good division, but it's a tight division.
But I mean, okay, but let's be honest though. It doesn't matter if all the teams are really good. All that really matters is if there's tension on, like, if games you know what I mean?
True, but
as a
I guess
fan,
my point is the if you're not a good division, just a tight division, then you're only going to send one team to the playoffs.
Oh, for sure.
Like you're not going to get a wild card out of that. Which, granted,
I would
this
bet
point,
the
it
Phillies
looks like
probably aren't going to be getting a wild card.
no. I mean, at this point in the season, it looks like both NL wild cards are going to come out of the West.
That's what it's looking like. So, but if the Phillies hadn't just been slightly better than everybody else besides the Mets, we would have had that division like 1 through 5, which
we had the order all right, except for the Phillies.
Yeah. So we got another one there.
Right. But that one we were better.
But you know what's funny?
We only got one correct, but like we had the order right.
Okay, but you know what's funny is so far it's been last place, first place, last place, first place. So what that means before I look at it is for the NL Central, the Brewers should be last. And where are the Brewers? They are first.
No. We have the Pirates last.
Oh no, we do have the Pirates last, but we had the Brewers fourth, so
we nailed it.
We did get the last place
team again. Killing it, guys.
We are so good at guessing who the best and worst teams are.
Yes, alternating. We can't get 2 in a row.
Okay, so let me make sure I got these lined up right. I'm looking at them side by side.
Yeah.
So we had St. Louis going first in that division. They're currently 8 back in third place. So not even
fourth
in
place. You had it.
Did I have it?
Oh, they're tied with the Cubs, same record. So
are they okay?
For third, I guess.
Yeah, they would be tied for third. And then we had the Cubs. I mean, hey, we have the Cardinals over the Cubs, and the list I'm looking at has the Cardinals over the Cubs. So
the one I'm looking at has the Cubs over the Cardinals.
And then we had the Cincinnati Reds in third. They are currently in second, so they're doing a little bit better than we had anticipated.
They have a lot of guys on their team who are playing really well, like way above their career averages.
They've been hitting like monsters this year.
Yeah, Nick Castellanos is leading all of baseball.
Yeah, it's nuts. So they're playing a little better than we had anticipated them playing this year. We had the Brewers in 4th place, and they are like, nah, fam, we got this. and they are leading the
really
division. Well. They haven't had a great last 10. They're 4-6 in their last 10, but they're 4 games up in their division. I imagine hopefully coming from the break, some of their pitchers will get some rest and they'll kind of pick that back up. The Reds are 8-2 in their last 10, which is pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Then we had the Pirates in last place where they currently sit, 18 back. That's kind of, I mean, it's par for the course. Did you see the memes about the like RIP to the Vanderbilt kid that got drafted? He's a pitcher. This is something I want to talk about after this. I know we don't give a shit about the MLB draft, but there's some really interesting things that happened at the MLB draft this year.
Okay.
I want to get into it because it won't take long after we're done with this, but just so you remind me. So we had the Pirates, so we got another one right.
Killing it.
All right. And I know we didn't get this one right, so okay. So this was the only thing that we argued on, really. This division was basically the only one that we disagreed on. You had the Dodgers at number 1 and the opposite. No, you had the Padres at number 1 and the Dodgers at number 2. I had the Dodgers at number 1 and the Padres at number 2.
Correct.
You had, I think, the Giants at number 3.
I did, yes.
And then I had the Giants at number 4 and the Diamondbacks at number 3. And then I think you had the Diamondbacks at 4, and we both agreed on Colorado as being the worst team in that division.
Correct.
Well,
we did not get any right.
That one was that division is a clusterfuck right now because the Giants are leading all of baseball right now, which is absolutely nuts. I'm loving it, but that's crazy. So they're leading that division. The Dodgers are in second. They're 2 games back. The Padres are 6 games back. Like, they're starting to lose a lot of ground.
They are, but they're still way up in the wild card.
I'm just saying, like, though, for that division. Then the Rockies actually, I mean, ironically, the Rockies are what the average last place team is back.
True.
At about 18 games, between 12 and 18 games is where most of the last place teams are in each of these divisions. But in the NL West, the team that I had at number 3, who I thought was actually going to be fairly decent this year, is by far the worst
not even
team
close
in all of baseball. With the Diamondbacks, they're 26-66. They are 32.5 games back.
With that said, the Orioles are coming up fast. I'm realizing they're only 2 games worse than the Orioles.
Oh, really? Is it that bad? Oh,
The Orioles
are
have 28 wins. They're 28-61.
Okay, yeah. And they are 26 out, but they still are like 5.5 games up compared to, like, in their division compared to where the...
Right.
But that also has to do with the fact that you have 2 of probably the best teams on paper in baseball. And one that
the
is
Giants
just...
who are way overachieving.
Yeah, like, they're literally... You won't see this again from those same players. I would almost guarantee it. Like, if you ran this first half of the season back 100 times, I bet you see this like 10.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
I'm gonna take
not a
it.
good division for us.
I'm gonna take it. That one was bad.
That's,
We got a
that's
good old
one
goose egg.
that's bad, but you can't be upset about it as a Giants
Well,
fan.
I can't. No, but I think any National League team there's no reason the Dodgers should be where they're at. The Dodgers should be, in my opinion, leading that division like the Giants are. I mean, granted, they're only 2 games back, so they're really not that much worse.
Still, I think on pace for 100 wins, the Dodgers are.
At 56, I think the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres, as long as they don't have like a really long stretch where they kind of suck, I think
the
all
Padres
on pace.
are not on pace because they're at 93 games already. They're like 12 games past the halfway point.
Okay, so then they'd be on pace for like 90, 92.
Yeah. The Dodgers are borderline. They'd be like 98 to 100, somewhere in that range would be their like projected total if they kept up the same.
The Giants are at 89. They're on pace for probably like 99, 98.
Yeah.
Maybe just shy of 100. But that's a division, though, that we both at the beginning of the year predicted could have not just one, but multiple 100-game
we
winners.
said that the Dodgers and Padres, we both agreed on that the Dodgers and Padres would both have 100 wins. We just flip-flopped on which would be on top. And it could very potentially still end up with those 2 teams on top. But
I mean, one team goes on like a 12-game win streak or something like that, and that division could flip real quick.
Right.
So that's kind of our just recap of the National League, where we again got one right. We got 2 right, but one in each division except for the NL West, because I literally don't think anybody would have predicted the NL West the way it is right now.
No way. There's zero chance there's a single person who picked the Giants to be above the Dodgers and Padres.
Now, having the Diamondbacks at the bottom, I'm sure maybe somebody had that, but I bet you a lot of people, if they were to look at this division, would have put the Giants at the very best in 3rd.
Yeah, that's where I had them. But I didn't have them. I had them at 3rd, but not competing at 3rd.
They're going to be buyers during this All-Star break or during this trade deadline.
The trade deadline.
It's pretty nuts. This is going to be interesting, I think. Okay, so let's real quick. World Series predictions. You had Padres, Blue Jays. How are you feeling about that? You still confident on that?
Not great at all. I don't expect the Blue Jays to even make the playoffs at this point. And the Padres are a possibility still. They'll probably make the playoffs. I mean, they have like a 4-game lead in the wild card right now for the 2nd spot. But at this point, they have to play. It's going to be the Dodgers and Padres in a 1-game playoff. That's going to be insane.
Well, especially with how intense their games were like early in the season already.
Yeah, that could be one of the best wild card playing games ever
The
since
best
they added it.
The best series, as long as nothing like drastically changes, the best series going from here to the end of the year are going to be when the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres all play each other. Because those are going to be nuts series because they're going to actually like have a huge impact in their divisions. And they're arguable. Like, I mean, you can't even argue it. The Giants are the best team in baseball right now. And the Dodgers and Padres on paper should be the best teams in baseball. So,
right.
Well, and the crazy part is the Giants are doing this with a lot of guys on the IL. A lot of guys that have gotten hurt this year.
Yeah. So, okay. So you had Dodgers, Blue Jays. How you feel?
Again, I'm not feeling too kind of like you. I'm not feeling too high on the Blue Jays right now. I'm thinking it wouldn't surprise me looking at the way the current stuff, like the way they're sitting right now. Wouldn't surprise me to see White Sox Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are still getting there.
I mean, the way things are right now, I would probably switch mine to either White Sox or Red Sox.
I think it's going to be Dodgers, White Sox. I'm going to stick with the Dodgers.
It's not the Astros.
Oh God, if it's the Astros, I hope it's the Giants, and I hope they shit on them.
Yes.
Honestly, I don't even care who it is. Even if it's the
them.
Dodgers, as much as I hate to root, they would be the first time I've ever rooted for the Dodgers.
I would support that. I would support you rooting for your rival in that situation.
The first time, because even last year, because if I'm not mistaken, that's who they played last year was the Astros.
No, it was Rays and Dodgers.
Yeah. That's right, because the Astros lost because they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the Astros. Oh, dude, it's starting to get nuts with like how long this is. Like, I think baseball is going to actually have to do something about it.
About what?
About what happened with the Astros and cheating their way to a championship and getting caught cheating their way to a championship.
They're not going to do anything about
because I don't think it's ever going to stop. And these players are like, bro, it's years
It shouldn't.
Well, no, I don't disagree with you, but I think people won't let it go because there was no punishment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Like if they got punished and people got suspended and
I would still hate all those players, but not.
I would too, but I don't think people would be still heckling them now.
Well, okay. To be fair on this, not to be fair to the Astros, I'm still gonna shit on them. There were no fans in stadiums last year, so this is technically the first year since that happened.
That's
with
true.
Fans. So like, it's the first time a lot of these people are seeing the Astros players since it happened, which is why it's been so bad this year, which I totally support. Make all the signs you want. I told Jen we're going to an Astros game next week against the Indians, and I told her I was going to make a sign.
Oh, is that next week?
You better not. Yeah, next Wednesday or Thursday.
It's going to be good. You should take at least a small live video while you're there. Like a short that we can just record it with your phone or something that we can put up on.
Maybe I'll go live for a second on our Twitter and.
Oh, that works.
Do a little short video. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But, so yeah, follow our Twitter because I might go live, and if not, then I'll be posting a short little video or our YouTube. So.
Oh, man. So, so far, I think we're just bang on for this season. Watch, I'm going to laugh if, like, at the end of the year, we're actually pretty close. Like, everything, like, finally shakes down to where we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. I said this when you left for a second, but, like, we compared our predictions to Vegas the following week, and, like, we were pretty much in agreement with what Vegas said. So it's not like we were the only ones who predicted a lot of this stuff. Like nobody saw the Red Sox, the Giants, the Brewers. Like nobody expected any of these teams to be good. It's not just us. So it makes me feel a little bit better about our predictions when the bettors in Vegas were also not predicting any of that. But
that's very fair.
But yeah, so all right. So what did you want to talk about in the draft?
I'm trying to find all the stats because there's some really crazy pitcher stats in this MLB draft.
Okay.
Something like the
For
first.
anybody who doesn't
Go
know,
ahead.
the draft happened on the day before the home run derby, so that would have been Monday. Or
It
at least the
actually was
first
like a
round
couple day
happened?
thing, if I'm not mistaken.
What was that?
It was actually a couple day thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but the first round is, or the first couple. I don't know how they do it. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But
Trying to come on. I'm trying to find all the crazy because it was something like there were the first like 23 of the first 29 picks were pitchers.
dang,
And there was something like it was something crazy like the majority it was like all but like 20 people picked were pitchers in this MLB draft or something stupid like that.
dang.
There was some like crazy fun facts that were I had heard on the radio and I was like fuck cuz we've gone over it a couple times. We don't really care about the draft.
I mean, yeah, the draft is kind of dumb because you won't see these players for years if they even pan out. But you have way more busts in the MLB draft than you do in any other draft, and it's just one of those things that's it's just kind of strange, like to care about players you're not potentially never going to see, and if you do, it won't be for 4 or 5
okay.
years.
So this was one of them. The Angels had 20 selections in the 2021 draft. They picked 20 pitchers.
Okay,
One
That's a
team
lot.
picked. They literally
Well,
used all of their
that's-
draft picks on pitchers.
that's the other reason no one cares about the MLB draft is that it's so many rounds. And I think it goes on forever. Like, as long as a team is picking in a round, like as soon so all right, you can correct me if I'm wrong if you even know. I'm pretty sure that the way the MLB draft works is everybody picks and everybody keeps picking, and you can stop picking as a team at any point in time. But once you stop, you can't pick again in like the next round. So like once you stop, you're done. And they keep going until nobody picks anyone, basically. Is the way that's the way I understand it.
I'm not like I don't think I've ever even looked into the MLB draft.
The only reason I know it is because of MLB The Show.
Is that how?
Has-
I would imagine it
Has
mimics how
and
it
I'm
actually
just
goes.
assuming that they have that as similar to real life.
I guess that's probably the craziest stat from the draft that I can find that I heard. I thought there was more that had to do with pitchers other than just the Angels, but that's nuts. Like that'd be like a football team drafting nothing but cornerbacks for all their rounds. Like that's all they pick.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you need at least 5 starters. And if you're going to do it, you pick 20 and hope 5 hit. I don't know.
I mean, I
they
guess
must
the
be
law of
very set
averages.
everywhere else. And they're like, man, we don't have a single pitcher who's coming up anytime soon. Like, we need some help.
That to me is crazy. Though, like of all the stats, like the Angels not picking anything other than a pitcher is a little bit crazy to me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Especially because I don't think their farm system is.
You said the Rangers, right?
Or I mean the Angels. Sorry,
Angels. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Angels farm system. Although it might not be bad because they've been terrible every year. So
I'm looking it up right now to see where they're at. Because I don't think they're very high. Ironically, the Tigers are ranked number 2. Oh, that's.
I mean,
that's
it
last
makes
year.
sense.
Sorry.
Like
So-
bad teams are gonna have good farm systems because they're sellers at the deadline, so they get players that way and they get high draft picks. So
Yeah, that was from February. Trying to find one that's more current.
okay, I have one from March 21st.
I got one from, it looks like, oh, this is the 21
Okay.
talent. So yours might be the best that I've seen so far.
All right, so you're looking for the Angels.
Yes. I'm just curious where they're ranked in their farm system.
Scrolling. We're halfway through the.
Okay,
league.
pre-draft farm system rankings. Okay, here we go.
I am at 21, and I still haven't found the Angels. 25.
Ooh. That's
20. They have 2 top 100 prospects,
That's brutal. Okay, so and that was as of March.
and they're not good. They're 53 and 74. It's not like they have a top 10 guy. Yeah, this was the end of March 21st.
Oh, this one doesn't show. I gotta pay to. I hate sites like that.
Yeah, same.
Because they had them all, but like you had to like pay to be a member or something like that to get them all.
Yeah.
That's
But-
no fun.
Interestingly, the Tampa Bay Rays have the number 1 farm system.
That's crazy.
2, 3. They have 8 guys in the top 100.
Dang.
Tigers, Mariners, Marlins, Orioles. So those all make sense. Those are all really bad teams. But the Rays are really good. They just went to the World Series last year. And they still have the top farm system. The Padres are number 6.
Where are
which
the
is
Giants
scary.
on there since you have the list?
What?
Where are the Giants? I think the Giants should be top 10. Giants should be like
11.
6. Oh, really? 11?
If at last year's midseason they were 13, preseason they were 10, they dropped down to 11
Ooh.
at the start of the season. You have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 top 10 or top 100 players.
Yeah, it should be like Marco Luciano, Joey Bart, and Helio Ramos, I think, is the other
Yep.
one.
And then Hunter Bishop.
Oh,
is
that's
your-
right. I always forget
your-
about Hunter Bishop because we have literally 2 top 100 prospects that are catchers.
Yep.
And-
Joey Bart is like your top expected rookie of this year.
Yeah. They actually
Is
just
he-
brought him up when Posey got hurt, like I think a couple days before the All-Star break. And I don't know if he got optioned back down yet. I don't think so because I don't think Posey's going to be back yet. I could be wrong. I always don't look at anything when it comes to the Giants when we're doing the podcast because I know I'll just like get stuck looking and watching.
You know what's funny is so this came out right as the season started, and the first line of the like part about the Giants farm system is now that they've embraced rebuilding, the Giants have assembled their best group of prospect talent since Posey, Bumgarner, and company were winning World Series titles. Now that you've embraced rebuilding, congratulations on first place.
Except for they haven't embraced rebuilding. The
Well,
Giants
definitely not now.
So no. And me and a buddy of mine, I don't know if we've talked about this, but me and one of my best friends who's an avid baseball player. He played baseball, he's coached baseball. I think he still does like private lessons. He was a pitcher. We've always talked about how the Giants are too big of a market to rebuild.
Yeah.
You can't rebuild in San Francisco.
Well,
Like
right.
people
I mean,
lose their
rebuild
shit
means
when they're
different
like,
things in
when they're like, yeah, we're just going to rebuild for the next couple of years. We're not going to have anybody great. We're going to suck. Like, that doesn't fly in San Francisco. Not with the
Rebuild
success that
means
they've
different
had.
things in different size markets. Rebuild means different things.
Yeah, like
when
ahead.
you're in a small market, rebuild means you're going to tank, you're going to get some high draft picks, you're going to bring them up in the farm system, and in like 5 or 6 years, you'll be back. Rebuilding the big market is like, we're going to have our couple of prospects we got, we're going to go out and sign some big free agents, and we're going to get some guys at the deadline.
So maybe that's what it means at the front office, but from a fan's perspective,
Right, yeah.
it means the same thing. It means, no, we're going to blow this up and we're going to just like suck for the next handful of years just so that we can, kind of come back.
Yeah.
And that people are not okay with that because that's the perception. Whether that's reality or not is different, but that's the perception.
Right.
Because everyone over the last couple of years has basically been, okay, we're rebuilding, but they're like, no, we're not rebuilding. And everyone's like, okay, we suck ass. We're rebuilding. Like, everyone can see it, just fucking admit it. And they wouldn't admit it. And all of a sudden, hey, the Giants are doing well. But the problem is the problem with the Giants as currently constructed is almost every single starting pitcher, except for Logan Webb and a couple of relief guys, are all set to be free agents at the end of this year. Literally everyone. So when this year is over, if they don't re-sign guys, we have literally zero pitching staff.
Right.
Which I don't think the Giants have ever been in that position with pitching. Like, we've been short on guys, but to be completely like, basically, if we don't sign a couple of these guys, we're screwed.
Right.
But they're talking about like $80 million contracts for guys that have had like 1 or 2 good years. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to, like, that's a Barry Zito contract all over again. The only difference is Barry Zito is coming off of Cy Young wins. Like,
right, yeah, it's a lot to invest. I mean, you're running into the same issue you guys ran into with the World Series titles. Is, do you pay a guy for what they've done or what they're gonna do? And if you're going to pay them for what they've done, then you're going to have some bad years at the end of the contract.
But the problem is they haven't won anything yet. The Giants paid all those people after they had won 1 or 2 championships. Maybe by the third one, you had a couple bloated contracts. But the first one, you didn't have a lot of big bloated contracts. Not a lot, anyway. But just to retain half of our pitching staff, we're going to have to pay like $160 million over the next, 4 years.
Right.
Just to keep a couple of those guys on staff with how good they've pitched this year. Like, Gossman, if he keeps going the way he is, like, he's going to be in the Cy Young race.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
And if he's in the Cy Young race, especially if he gets like top 2 or 3, because I don't think he's going to win it, because I think DeGrom's going to like run away with that Cy Young. But
yeah, as long as he comes back, because DeGrom went on the IL, but as long as he comes back, he'll win it.
So as long as nothing crazy happens with DeGrom, like, he's winning it, so he's not going to win. But if he gets like second place in the Cy Young, $80 million's not going to be $90 million's not going to be out of the question for a runner-up to a Cy Young.
Yeah, especially a Cy Young that has such an incredible year. Like,
because his year in most years,
where you're like, I got second, but like, this dude broke every record in baseball. Like,
it's like, if it was any other year, I probably would have won it.
Right, exactly.
Although, how much does it suck to have a good year on a year that somebody's doing something like that? You're like, you son of a bitch! Like, you couldn't do that shit next year. Like, this is my year.
Do that in the shortened season last year? Like, come on. But yeah.
But no, I don't know. I think the trade deadline is going to be a lot of fun, though.
I'm excited to talk about it next week with some of our predictions, and
I
who will be a buyer, who will be a seller.
I think there's going to be some fun moves made at this.
There's a
trade deadline.
lot of guys who are going to be free agents next year who could be on the market.
Well, there are a lot
Like
of
big names.
There are a lot of teams that currently are like right around 500 that are going to be buyers that probably shouldn't be, to be completely honest. I'm trying to think of, like, if I'm not mistaken, the Braves are loading back up even after Acuna Jr. went down. Like, they're actually like legitimately trying to get back in that division. The Phillies are going to be buyers for sure, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
There's talks of even the Nationals in that division being buyers, and I'm like, bro, they're like 6 out. But
I mean, but 6 out's not insane.
the Reds are probably going to be buyers.
The one that's super interesting to me is the Yankees, because the Yankees are never sellers, but
they can't really be buyers. They're probably just going to be pushers. They're just gonna keep the team they've got, and they're not going to sell anybody. But they're not. But there has been talks of Aaron Judge on the market, and people, like, even in local radio and stuff, have been asking, like, I don't know, do we want to give up these guys to maybe get him? And I'm like, hell no. No. Like, I'm not saying that Aaron Judge is a bad player by any stretch, but no.
Yeah, it's hard to give away too much on Aaron Judge just because he's always hurt. It's hard to make any sort of investment in him.
Well, and on top of that, the Giants have, like, the guys that they're talking about giving up are a couple of the top 100 prospects.
Right, yeah.
Like, why would you?
And you have to give up players like that to get Judge. Like, the Yankees aren't going to get rid of him for anything more than, or anything less than, like, top tier talent.
I'm okay with it, but you know who I'd rather have if we're going to give up that kind of capital is Chris Bryant from the Cubs.
Yeah,
he plays
Baez from the Cubs.
Well, I'm just saying Chris Bryant because he plays more positions. So the way the Giants are constructed are very much a utility team. I won't get too far into it because we're going to go way in depth next week. But they're a utility team by nature, basically, at this point. Yeah. And Chris Bryant can play like 6 fucking positions on the field.
Right.
He can play any outfield position. He can play first, and I think he can play third.
Well, he was a third baseman until like this year. Like, that was the only position he played.
So for me, he fits, and Chris Bryant's a stud. Who wouldn't want Chris Bryant on their team? Yeah. When he's healthy, he is golden. But I've also noticed a lot of the players, I'm like, man, I want him. They're also the players you're like, when he's healthy, he's good. Yeah. Not that Chris Bryant has been hurt as a lot, but like players like Judge, they kind of have been hurt like every year for a period. It feels like, maybe not, but it just kind of what the feeling is.
I mean, we'll get more into this next week, but like Chris Bryant's pretty much a guarantee to move.
Bryant and Baez are gone. It's just a matter of who's going to give them what they want for them. Right. But we'll get into more of that. Just a teaser for next week, because next week's going to be a fun one, because I've always wanted to like get in depth and talk trade deadline and stuff, and I've never really had anybody that cared enough to fucking get into it.
I'm totally down.
So we're gonna get into it next week. Anything you want to throw on our All-Star recap? Predictions, anything like that?
No, I think I am good. Definitely need to get better at predicting things. That's my takeaway from this episode.
My takeaway from this episode is baseball is not as predictable as every other sport every other major sport.
Totally fair.
Because there's so many players and so many factors. Like maybe we'll do this at the beginning of the football season, because it's going to be coming up in like 2 months, a month.
I think it's about 2 months away.
Yeah, it's about 2 months. Before that season, we'll do a Bases and Brews does football or something like that. We'll do another special episode where we do our like preseason predictions for football, and I bet you that those predictions halfway through the year, or even at the end of the year, are way more accurate than baseball.
That's fair.
But on that note, thanks everybody. appreciate you coming, hanging out, listening, watching. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching us live when we redo this on twitch.tv/Bases and Brews, then go check out our YouTube for previous episodes. We will be having all of our watch parties up on the YouTube by the end of the weekend, so you can check those out if you haven't got a chance to kind of see our reactions to what was going on to the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. I stayed on for the Celebrity Game, even though probably not really that much fun to watch because I was just bitching the whole time. But if you want to catch any other episodes, we got some really cool episodes on our favorite baseball movies all time and some other top 10s. We actually need to do a few more top 10s.
Yep. We got some in the pipeline once we finish the trade deadline.
Yeah, once all the trade deadline stuff is up, we got another top 10 coming. But we are also on every podcast service you can imagine, except for not Google, except for what is it? Apple. There it goes. I knew it started with an A. Couldn't think of it. Apple Podcasts. So Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, any other service. Just go ahead and search up Bases and Brews Podcast, and you should find us there. Catch any of our old episodes. If you want to catch us live, we record this live every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. This week is on Twitch. Next week we'll be on, we'll be on Twitch and Facebook at the same time. We're going to give that a go and try a multi-stream. And we will be coming soon streaming to YouTube, probably within the next few weeks, probably 2-3 weeks away. We're going to try give it a shot on YouTube as well. So come and check us out. We are literally everywhere. Twitter /at Bases Brews.
Yep.
Since we still can't, I'm got to email that guy that has Bases and Brews and see if we can get that from him, even though he hasn't been active since 2009.
Right.
But thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We will catch you all next week for another episode of Bases and Brews.
Later.